In this video, we're dealing with a pretty straightforward case. So I don't have a whiteboard behind me. I'm not using any markers because the question is very simple. Before we answer it, here's what you need to know. The Fourth Amendment protects you against unreasonable searches and seizures. What does that mean? That officers usually need to have a warrant before they can search you or seize you. But there are exceptions to the rule. Sometimes we're dealing with a street or we're dealing with automobiles. Under Terry versus Ohio, police officers need to have a reasonable suspicion that you're doing something criminally wrong in order to stop you and question you. But in this video, we're going to be dealing with a situation where what you've been doing turns out not to be criminal at all.
What?
Did the police officers violate your Fourth Amendment if they stopped you and searched your vehicle? Or is that allowed under the Fourth Amendment?
What?
Today we're going to be talking about United States versus Meadows, a 10th Circuit case. And here's what you need to know. We have an individual driving on a street, and we have a police officer who's following behind. The officer notices that the third taillight, the one that we have in the middle of the rear window, well, it's hard to see it. Why? Because the rear window was tinted. The police officer believes that that's a violation of criminal law. He thinks it's an infraction. Well, he pulls over the vehicle, and of course he finds drugs afterwards. The defendant argues that this was an illegal seizure, an illegal stop, because after all, the state of Utah has decriminalized certain infractions. And in this case, what she had was actually not a criminal offense at all. If she paid the ticket within 14 days, it would have become a civil infraction. So you just pay the ticket and you're done with it. There is no criminal penalty. So what she says is, how is this a legal stop if what she was doing was never criminal? Well, you would think that this case is pretty straightforward and that Kimberly Meadows should actually win this one. Her suppression motion should be granted. But the 10th Circuit says otherwise. And here's why. First, they begin with the Fourth Amendment, the one that protects you against unreasonable searches and seizures. We also know under Terry versus Ohio, a Supreme Court case, the Supreme Court has told us that officers need to have reasonable suspicion that you're doing something criminally wrong in order to make an investigatory stop. In this case, you would think that Kimberly was not doing anything criminally wrong. The statute in question was civil after all. But the 10th Circuit goes further. The 10th Circuit tells us that under the Supreme Court case Whren, automobiles are a special category, and officers can stop automobiles if they believe that you've committed any sort of infraction or any traffic law. Doesn't really matter, criminal or civil, which in fact brings us to the second point the 10th Circuit makes, that the Fourth Amendment does not differentiate between civil and criminal offenses. And finally, the statute in question, the Utah law that says the tinted window that covers up the brake light is civil in nature, the 10th Circuit says that it doesn't necessarily mean that this is not a criminal infraction. Kimberly has in fact committed a criminal infraction. And if she pays within the first 14 days, the ticket simply goes away and it becomes a civil infraction. So the ticket simply goes away and she hasn't never committed a criminal offense. But if she doesn't pay, the starting point is that this statute is still criminal if she doesn't pay that ticket within the first 14 days. For those three reasons, the 10th Circuit says that the district court did the right decision by not granting her or denying her suppression motion because the stop was in fact legal. What do you think about that? Was this stop legal in your opinion? Should police officers be able to stop vehicles if what you're doing is not actually criminally wrong, but just civil offenses? Comment below, let me know. Please click like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so next time I post, you'll be first to know.